They were in the midst of a compelling afternoon of football with promotion and relegation drama right across the divisions. Mark Bright and Garth Crooks have been watching it all unfold, and it all started in the lunchtime kick-off in Manchester. Ivan Gaskell watched City versus United.
There may be a large cloud hanging over Britain in general, but there's a very black one hovering above the blue half of Manchester in particular right now. For 92.5 absorbing minutes, you couldn't really separate these two. Like a couple of wily old heavyweights, they slugged it out. Then, with seconds of added time left, one of the wiliest of them all pinched it for United. Evra found himself free on the left, and he picked out an...
Well, Garth, it's a great result, but it was the nature of the result, isn't it, that's given them a huge psychological boost for Manchester United?
Both teams had chances, and for much of the game, both teams struggled to convert those chances. It would take a United side seconds coming out of added time, there must be about 30 seconds left, to get the winner, which puts enormous pressure on Chelsea, puts a bit of pressure on Spurs, puts a lot of pressure on Manchester City. That's the significance of that win, and they're still very much in the title race.
Now, afterwards, Paul Scholes said it was a deserved win. Would you agree with him, Mark?
He would say that, wouldn't he? It's a Manchester derby. What we say is, Manish, is, you know, Manchester United have scored late goals year after year after year, and we always say that in pursuit of winning the game, don't be afraid to lose, and they epitomise that right the way through. And you know what? They pushed for the game right to the end, so I would have to say yes.
OK, well, let's get the latest in the Premier League then from the 3 o'clock kickoffs as they reach their closing stages. Hull looking for a response after last week's aberration at home to Burnley, losing by 4 goals to 1. They're taking on Birmingham. The latest now from St Andrews comes from Andrew James.
Yes, Manish. Well, Birmingham, of course, 0-0 here with Hull City. 7 of the last 8 Hull City have lost. So I suppose 0-0, they'll be seeing that as something of an improvement. But with games running out, they really do need all 3 points. They've had just the one real chance today, a diving header from Vennegoor of Hesselink, well saved by Hart in the first half. Since then, they've sent on Jose Altidore in place of Vennegoor of Hesselink. Hull on the attack at the moment. Birmingham have had half a dozen chances to score themselves. They lost heavily, of course, last week too. But at the moment, there seems to be no way through for Hull, who haven't won here at Birmingham for 40 years. It's Birmingham 0, Hull City 0.
Now, there's been a third goal at Blackburn. They're taking on Everton. Harry Grayson.
It's gone to Everton, Manish. Kalinic heading the ball in from 2 or 3 yards just after Blackburn Rovers had managed to equalise with an absolutely stunning goal from Stephen Nzonzi. Everton, though, the better side in this second half. They'll think they deserve that 2-1 lead.
In the Championship, with 4 games to play, QPR found themselves 6 points above the relegation zone. The Vidi confirms a goal for the visitors at Loftus Road. Let's get details of that from Andy May.
Cardiff City are on for the playoffs. They need a win to be sure of a place in the playoffs at the end of the season. So far, they're heading for that. It's 1-0. Joe Ledley has just headed in at the far post after a great cross on the left-hand side, a long cross from Mark Kennedy. QPR have really, to be honest with you, been the better side throughout this game. It looked like it was heading for 0-0 for the 3rd time in a row for Cardiff as they just go on the attack with Chopra again. They're 1 up.
OK, well, let's go back to the Premier League and find out how Burnley are faring away to Sunderland. The feeling is they probably need to win 3 of their last 4 games. So how is this panning out, Steve Sutton?
If you're a Burnley fan, not too good, because Sunderland lead by 2 goals to 0, both goals in the first half. The first from Fraser Campbell, converting a cross from Alan Hutton from the right, and then Campbell turning provider for Darren Bent, who else a lovely cushioned header across the face of the goal, and Bent with an easy tap into the net. And actually, Burnley have just pulled 1 back. So do I speak too soon? Stephen Thompson, I think it is, with the Burnley goal, side-footed into the net from just inside the box. Is there hope yet? 8 minutes left on the clock. Sunderland 2, Burnley 1.
OK, well, next to the Britannia Stadium, where Bolton perhaps need 1 more win to ensure safety this season. Looking at their game at Stoke, Richard Askham.
Yes, hi Manish. Stoke City 1, Bolton Wanderers 0. Bolton outplayed in the first half, have been much better after the break. Ivan Krasnic off the bench has made a real impact. He's gone very close on a couple of occasions and has injected as well some pace into the Wanderers attack. But Stoke, as ever, well organised and compact, have dominated much of this game, certainly in terms of possession, after Dave Kitson gave them the lead in the first half. He has missed from a yard as well this half when it was easier to score. Chances at both ends. We're still seeing chances at both ends of the pitch, but it's Stoke who lead.
There's another goal at Ewood Park, Harry Gratian.
Amazing goal from Jason Roberts this time to make it 2 goals each. Yakubu had scored to put Everton ahead just a couple of minutes before, but Jason Roberts with a fantastic strike. 2 great goals here for Blackburn Rovers, I can tell you from distance. 2-2, anyone's game.
In the Championship, Blackpool have got their eyes on the playoffs. Nottingham Forest already there. This could be a big goal at Bloomfield Road. James Mason.
A very big goal, Manish. It's Blackpool 3, Nottingham Forest 1. DJ Campbell scoring his 2nd of the game, his 7th of the season. It was getting very tense and nervous with the Blackpool fans after Joe Garner had pulled them back. But you can probably hear around with the Blackpool fans in front of their biggest crowd of the season. In fact, one of their biggest crowds since the 1980s, and now 3-1 ahead.
Scores on the Viddy. Leicester have conceded 1 at the Walker Stadium. Watford have scored through Martin Taylor, the centre-half formerly of Birmingham, of course. Notts County only need a point to celebrate promotion from League 2. They are thumping Morecambe. They've got a 4th through Ben Davis on 77 minutes. Back to the Premier League. Let's get the latest on Fulham v Wolves at Craven Cottage. David Garrido.
It's Fulham 0, Wolves 0. Got beautifully sunny weather, but it was a largely forgettable first half. Best chances, Chris Smalling's glanced header wide for Fulham. Kevin Dawes' drilled effort shaving the side netting for Wolves. The home side have looked the better side since the break. Bobby Zamora striking a post after turning away smartly from Jody Craddock. Damien Duff's had 2 good opportunities. Danny Murphy's shot deflected wide by Christoph Berra. Now the Fulham fans have been chanting, we're all going on a European tour, but their Europa League semi-final first leg at Hamburg next Thursday might be called off if that volcanic ash cloud gets its own way because of the havoc that it's been causing with flights. UEFA say they will make a decision by Monday. Fulham 0, Wolves 0.
Thanks, David. Let's get reaction to the day's early Premier League game. It was the Manchester derby at Eastlands. It finished City 0, Manchester United 1. A dramatic end to the game. His reaction to that Eastlands defeat of Manchester City from Steve Wilson.
Roberto, a difficult defeat for you to accept.
Yes, difficult because we are not deserved to lose this game. We play a good game, but football, that's it. It's incredible when you consider goal in the last second. After that, you had a chance 5 minutes before. But it's important that now we think positive because we have other 4 games. I'm sorry for the supporters, but we try to win the next 4 games.
Paul, you've scored a hatful of important goals in your career, but that must be right up there as one of the very biggest.
Yeah, it was an important goal. We'll probably see how important it is come the end of the season. We're just going to try and keep as much pressure as we can on Chelsea. They've got a tough game this afternoon, and just hopefully we can just stay in there for now.
Yeah, Paul Scholes, who scored Manchester United's dramatic late winner at Manchester City earlier today. There's been a goal at Stoke. Richard Askham can tell us all about it.
Yes, it's now Stoke City 1, Bolton Wanderers 1. Matthew Taylor with a precious equaliser for Owen Coyle's men. A free kick just outside the D. He struck it as ever, left-footed, low and hard, into the bottom corner and past Thomas Sorensen. It's Stoke 1, Bolton 1.
Brighty, that's a big equaliser, isn't it?
Well, you know what? They haven't been in this game. I think it's a contentious free kick. I think it's Jack Wiltshire who gets brought down on the edge of the box. It looks slightly like a bit of a dive. The Stoke City players contested it. It deflected off the wall, Taylor, and it's 1-1. But I can say I think they're getting something they don't deserve here.
What's interesting, the wall jumps. Yeah. It jumps in unison, and the free kick creeps under the wall and takes a deflection as it does so. If the wall stands, it doesn't.
It would never have happened.
They're trying to stop the one over the top.
OK, to the intriguing game in League One involving team at the bottom and at the top, Gillingham versus Leeds. Gillingham without an away win, but at home they're a different proposition altogether. Let's get the latest on this one from the Priestfield Stadium and Mark Bishop.
As you come to me, Manish, is Gillingham 3, Leeds United 2. That man, Jermaine Beckford, has planted a penalty which Alan Julian had no chance of stopping. Beckford had come off the substitutes bench midway through the second half. Upended, we think, by Dennis Ollie as he ran innocuously towards the edge of the penalty area. Alan Wiley pointing directly to the spot. Could this be a comeback? 5 minutes plus stoppage. Gillingham 3, Leeds 2.
Let's find out how Blackpool's pursuit of a playoff place in the Championship is coming along. Ian Holloway called this the biggest game of his player's career. They're taking on Nottingham Forest at Bloomfield Road. James Mason.
and it's going to plan for Ian Holloway and his men as a cross comes in, but well defended by the Blackpool defenders. They've been resolute all afternoon. They lead 3-1, 2 from DJ Campbell and 1 from the penalty spot from Charlie Adam, his 17th of a great season. Nottingham Forest, I must say, have been weakened today. 5 changes by Billy Davis's men, but they have been under par. Blackpool doing their bit to try and get themselves into the playoffs. No longer a tense finish. They should be now home and hosed. It's Blackpool 3, Nottingham Forest 1.
There are 4 teams who could be celebrating promotion come 5 o'clock. Norwich are one of them. They're away to Charlton at the Valley. Lizzie Greenwood-Hughes.
Yes, and they are still beating Charlton 1-0 at the ground where they were relegated last season. Norwich look like they could be heading back to the Championship, possibly as champions, but they haven't exactly looked like champions today. Charlton have definitely had the lion's share of play, and the Norwich goal came against the run of play. Michael Nelson heading in the first half, but Norwich are holding on, grinding out that win, they hope, and this is going to severely dent Charlton's hopes of automatic promotion. But with about 5 minutes left to play, they are leading Charlton 1-0 at the Valley.
There's been a 3rd goal at Stoke. Which way has it gone, Richard Askham?
It's gone to Bolton Wanderers. A 2nd goal for Matthew Taylor, who's just celebrated in front of the Bolton contingent just to my right-hand side. Excellent work from Vladimir Weiss down the right-hand side. He tricked his way past a couple of defenders, knocked it in low and hard, and Taylor was there to steer the ball into the net. Stoke 1, Bolton 2.
Let's go back to the promotion trail in League 2. Can Rochdale celebrate promotion? They're first from the division in 41 years. They're taking on Northampton. All Rochdale need is a point at Spotland. Mark Webber.
Yeah, it's still 1-0 here at Spotland, and I can tell you that the fans can taste it. Northampton have come back in the second half and have played some really good football, but they're holding on for an historic achievement here. The minutes tick away. Rochdale 1, Northampton 0.
Notts County could be joining Rochdale. John Anderson.
Yes, they're minutes away from a place in League One. They lead by 4-1, 3 of them coming in the first 20 minutes. Lee Hughes with a couple to take his season's tally to 30. In between those, a stunning volley from Ricky Ravenhill. David Artell's header for Morecambe didn't spoil the party one bit, because a couple of moments later, Ben Davis got his 15th goal of the season, and Notts County are heading back to League One. 4-1 they lead at Meadow Lane.
In the Blue Square Premier, Stevenage Borough could be looking forward towards their first ever campaign in the Football League. They're away to Kidderminster at Agborough. Andy Barwell.
And it's 2-0 to Stevenage Borough, almost there in achieving Football League status with the win that they require. They got off to a flyer here. The scorer was Charlie Griffin. Settled any nerves. They've been in control of this ever since. And a fine individual goal from Joel Byram got the Stevenage second. Promotion will be rubber stamped in about 1 minute plus stoppage time. It's Kidderminster 0, Stevenage 2.
Leicester City remain on course for a playoff place in the Championship. Let's see how they're getting along against Watford. Tony Lockwood's at the Walker Stadium.
Well, Watford haven't won away since mid-October. That is not going to change. Martin Waghorn's penalty, Paul Gallagher's terrific left-foot finish, James Vaughan among the goal scorers as well, and Jay Spearing. A goal back from Martin Taylor's headed effort, and all that after Leicester had Stephen Howard sent off for a crude first-half challenge on Ross Jenkins. Leicester are going to tighten their grip on a top-6 finish. Leicester 4, Watford 1.
Back to the Premier League, and it looks like Hull continue to frustrate Birmingham City. Andrew James.
Yes, or indeed the other way round, Manish. It's the frustration for Hull City. Craig Fagan, I wonder whether we've just seen a pivotal moment in Hull City's bid to stay in the Premier League. The ball falling kindly to Fagan from a defensive header. Had a lunge at it with the right boot, but put it wide of the Birmingham goal. It's Birmingham 0, Hull City 0.
It's been quite a spectacle at Ewood Park this afternoon. Harry Grayson can tell us news of a 5th goal. Harry.
And it's gone to Everton, Manish. It was created, I have to be said, by Yakubu. Wonderful skill, just floated the ball across, and Cahill couldn't miss virtually on the line. 3-2 to Everton, 4 minutes of added time.
This could be an important goal in the Championship involving Derby and Crystal Palace, just a point above the relegation zone. Robin Bailey.
Derby 1, Crystal Palace 1, a priceless equaliser for Stern John. Only his 3rd goal in 14 appearances for Palace. On the turn, he chested it down and hit it on the turn. It was a terrific goal. He'd earlier hit the post, so he'd been really unlucky, and Stephen Bywater had to make a brilliant double save to keep Derby level. Derby had gone ahead in the 6th minute through Russell Anderson, but Palace back, and hear those fans to my right. They've been brilliant for Palace, and they've got the goal that they deserve and that Palace deserve in this second half. It's 1-1 here.
Newton, Scotland, Livingston have been promoted. Congratulations to them from Scottish Division 3. They go up as champions. Another big game in Scotland. This one is in the SPL. St Johnstone taking on St Mirren at McDermott Park for us. Ian Turner.
Yes, St Johnstone have just equalised 3 minutes into stoppage time, and this could be a season-changing refereeing decision for St Mirren. St Mirren had looked in control. They were 2-1 up as we went into injury time. St Johnstone put in a shot. It was handled on the line. The referee wasn't sure. He took a full 3 minutes to make his mind up in consultation with his near side linesman. He decided it was a penalty. Substitute Paul Sheeran has just smashed it into the roof of the net. Sensational finish here. It's not over yet. It's St Johnstone 2, St Mirren struggling against relegation 2.
It's all over at Pittodrie, and huge relief for Aberdeen against Falkirk. Brian McLaughlin.
It certainly is, Manish. It finished Aberdeen 1, Falkirk 0. Steve McLean's goal after just 11 minutes, clinching all 3 points for the Dons. It takes them 6 points clear now of the bottom. Defeat for Falkirk, but that goal from St Johnstone at McDermott Park takes him just 1 point ahead of them now. The next 4 games are going to be crucial in the SPL. It finished at Pittodrie. Aberdeen 1, Falkirk 0.
And it's full-time at St Andrews. Birmingham v Hull. No goals, but could it be a priceless point for Hull, Andrew James?
Well, I think, Manish, that certainly seems to be the way that Hull City are looking at it. High fives and handshakes from Ian Dowie amongst his players. 2,000 travelling supporters getting acclaim from Ian Dowie and his men too. One wonders, though, just how much use the point will be come the end of the season. They had 3 or 4 good chances at the end. A real flipper of a shot from Craig Fagan right at the death, which failed to treble Hart. And in the first half, perhaps the pivotal moment of their season, a marvellous save from Joe Hart at point-blank range to deny Jan Vennegoor of Hesselink. Hull will feel that the point allows them to march on. They have a game in hand, but it really was an opportunity to claim all 3. Birmingham were indifferent. Their season seemingly ended some weeks ago. Birmingham 0, Hull City 0.
So an encouraging result for Hull. The same can't be said for Burnley. They began the day 4 points off safety. They were away to Sunderland. It's full-time. Steve Sutton.
Yes, and despite a spirited fight back in the last 15 minutes, it's finished Sunderland 2, Burnley 1. Burnley hit by 2 well-crafted Sunderland first-half goals. The first from Fraser Campbell off an Alan Hutton cross, and then Campbell turning provider for Darren Bent. A lovely chip into the box from David Mailer. Campbell with a cushioned header across the face of goal, and Bent with the easiest of side foot finishes. On 82 minutes, Stephen Thompson gave Burnley some hope. He was given room centrally just outside the box, and he side-footed home, but Burnley couldn't make that count. It's finished Sunderland 2, Burnley 1.
Full-time 2 at Stoke, and according to former boss Gary Megson, they just needed 1 win for safety. They've got it. Bolton 2, Stoke 1. Details of this from... shall we get details on this game? In fact, let's get news. OK, well, Richard Askham can give us a full-time update on this game.
Yes, hi Manish. Stoke City 1, Bolton Wanderers 2. A precious win for Bolton after a game in which they were often second best. Certainly in a first half where Stoke took a deserved lead through Dave Kitson. But Bolton, with Ivan Klasnic off the bench, did steadily improve. And when Matt Taylor equalised late on with a free kick, you could see the belief flood back into Bolton. And after terrific work from Vladimir Weiss, Matt Taylor struck again, steering the ball past Thomas Sorensen to almost certainly steer his side to Premier League safety.
Congratulations to Rochdale. It's been quite a few years in that division in League 2, 41 years to be precise. They can finally confirm their promotion to the 3rd tier of English football. Well done to them. They've beaten Northampton. Details of this win comes from Mark Webber.
Words not uttered since Garth Crooks last wall flares. Rochdale are promoted. Grown men weep in front of me as champagne corks fly high through the industrial skyline of mid-Lancashire after they depart the basement of league football for the first time since 1969. Chris Chris O'Grady's first half tap-in sealed it, despite a difficult second half. All the players are held aloft in front of me. The stands have emptied. There's going to be one heck of a party in East Lancashire tonight. You're not going to stop these boys drinking. Call local singer Lisa Stansfield. There's a promotion party to sing at. Rochdale 1, Northampton 0. Rochdale are promoted.
Very well done to Keith Hill and his games. Maybe not so at Craven Cottage for Fulham v Wolves. Details of these 90 minutes come from David Garrido.
Yes, Fulham 0, Wolves 0. First half boring, second half better-ish. Wolves getting another valuable point to ease their relegation worries. Not that they really had many opportunities to grab all three here, aside Kevin Dawes shot into the side netting before the break. Fulham with the better openings after it. Bobby Zamora striking a post. Zoltan Gira's header landing on the roof of the net. Chances too for Damien Duff and Danny Murphy. But in beautiful sunshine here by the Thames, it was more like a snoozy Sunday afternoon kickabout in the park. Fulham can now turn their attention to next Thursday's Europa League semi-final first leg at Hamburg, if that volcanic ash cloud lets them travel there, of course. Fulham 0, Wolves 0.
Let's go to the Blue Square Premier, because there's a promotion party in full swing for Stevenage Borough. They are in the Football League for the first time in their history. They've beaten Kidderminster Harriers. Here's Andy Barwell.
Yes, congratulations to Stevenage Borough on getting Football League status. It's a case of better late than never after missing out 14 years ago. No problems this time over ground facilities. Their fans will say it's their destiny to go up. Win 28 of the conference campaign came here. Few problems caused by Kidderminster. Goals from Charlie Griffin and Joel Byram settled this. The perfect season for Stevenage can be completed next month with a trip to Wembley for the FA Trophy final. Full time here, Kidderminster 0, Stevenage 2.
The Norwich players are celebrating, the fans are celebrating. They are back in the Championship, courtesy of their victory at Charlton. With the details of this game, Lizzie Greenwood-Hughes.
Yes, it's finished here at the Valley. Charlton 0, Norwich 1, and it completes an incredible turnaround for Norwich. 12 months after being relegated right here at the Valley, they are back in the Championship, and they could even go up as champions, depending on goal difference. Charlton looked the better team, though. Michael Nelson's headed Norwich goal was completely against the run of play, but the visitors somehow hung on, severely denting Charlton's automatic promotion hopes. But the thousands of travelling Norwich fans don't care a bit about that. They are back in the Championship. It's Charlton 0, Norwich 1.
Well, at the start of the day, Notts County only needed a point. They've done better than that. They've got all three to celebrate promotion to the third tier after 6 years. Let's get details of their win over Morecambe at Meadow Lane Forest. John Anderson.
Yes, a handsome win, Manish, by 4 goals to 1 to cap an incredible season. Notts County back in League One after an absence of 6 years. Steve Cottrell's tally as manager, an incredible 35 points from a possible 39. It was never in doubt. 3 goals in the opening 18 minutes, 2 for top scorer Lee Hughes, taking his tally to 30 for the season. In between those, a bullet from Ricky Ravenhill. David Artell headed for Morecambe on the 73rd minute, but it didn't spoil the party as Ben Davis rounded off a fine move to make it 4-1. Their next target now is the title, of course, and they face nearest rivals Rochdale on Tuesday. Are you watching Sven-Göran Eriksson? Are you watching Sol Campbell? County are promoted. Notts County 4, Morecambe 1.
Yeah, very well done to them. Now, don't forget, final score is here every week from 2:30 on the Red Button and online. OK, time to get the full classified results now with Tim Gudgin.
In the Barclays Premier League, Birmingham City 0, Hull City 0. Blackburn Rovers 2, Everton 3. Fulham 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. Manchester City 0, Manchester United 1. Stoke City 1, Bolton Wanderers 2. Sunderland 2, Burnley 1. Tottenham Hotspur and Chelsea kick off at 5:30. In the Coca-Cola Championship, Blackpool 3, Nottingham Forest 1. Coventry City 1, Preston North End 1, a latest score. Derby County 1, Crystal Palace 1. Ipswich Town 1, Doncaster Rovers 1. Leicester City 4, Watford 1. Queen's Park Rangers 0, Cardiff City 1. Reading 6, Peterborough United 0. Scunthorpe United 3, Bristol City 0. Swansea City 3, Barnsley 1. West Bromwich Albion and Middlesbrough kick off at 5:15. In League One, Bristol Rovers 0, Brentford 0. Carlisle United 1, Oldham Athletic 2. Charlton Athletic 0, Norwich City 1. Gillingham 3, Leeds United 2. Hartlepool United 3, Colchester United 1. Leyton Orient 2, Stockport County 0. Milton Keynes Dons 2, Wycombe Wanderers 3. Southend United 0, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. Swindon Town 1, Walsall 1. Tranmere Rovers 3, Exeter City 1. And Yeovil Town 0, Southampton 1. In League 2, Accrington Stanley 1, Hereford United 2. AFC Bournemouth 2, Darlington 0. Aldershot Town 1, Crewe Alexandra 1. Bradford City 2, Barnet 1. Bury 1, Port Vale 1. Dagenham and Redbridge 2, Burton Albion 1. Grimsby Town 0, Torquay United 3. Macclesfield Town 2, Chesterfield 0, that's the latest score. Notts County 4, Morecambe 1. Rochdale 1, Northampton Town 0. Rotherham United 0, Cheltenham Town 0. And Shrewsbury Town 1, Lincoln City 0. In the Blue Square Premier, Barrow 0, Salisbury City 1. Cambridge United 4, Hayes and Yeading United 1. Crawley Town 2, Tamworth 0. Ebbsfleet United 2, Gateshead 0. Forest Green Rovers 2, Histon 0. Kettering Town 4, Eastbourne Borough 0. Kidderminster Harriers 0, Stevenage Borough 2. Luton Town 0, Altrincham 0. Oxford United 2, Mansfield Town 0. Wrexham 0, Rushton and Diamonds 1. And York City 1, Grays Athletic 1. In the Clydesdale Bank Scottish Premier League, Aberdeen 1, Falkirk 0. Celtic 3, Hibernian 2. Hamilton Academical 3, Kilmarnock 0. St Johnstone 2, St Mirren 2. The Ironbrew Scottish Division 1, Airdrie United 1, Ross County 1. Greenock Morton 2, Dundee 2. Inverness Caledonian Thistle 2, Dunfermline Athletic 0. Partick Thistle 0, Ayr United 1. Queen of the South 3, Wraith Rovers 0. In Scottish Div 2, Alloa Athletic 1, Dumbarton 2. Arbroath 1, Cowdenbeath 1. Brechin City 1, East Fife 0. Clyde 3, Peterhead 1. Stenhousemuir 1, Stirling Albion 3. And Scottish Division 3, Albion Rovers 1, Queen's Park 0. Annan Athletic 3, Stranraer 2. Elgin City 0, East Stirlingshire 1. Forfar Athletic 2, Montrose 0. Livingstone 0, Berwick Rangers 0. In the Welsh Premier, Bangor City 7, Cassous 1. CPD Portmarnock 0, Port Talbot Town 1. Llanelli 2, Welshpool Town 1. Newtown 0, Gap Connors Quay 0. Rhyl 1, Aberystwyth Town 1. And New Saints 4, Haverfordwest County 0. In the Carling Premiership, Ballymena United 3, Institute 0. Cliftonville 2, Portadown 1. Crusaders 2, Glentoran 1. And Glenavon 1, Lisbon Distillery 3.
And two late results to give you. In the Championship, it ended at Coventry 1, Preston 1, and in League 2, which kicked off at 3:30. So that's the latest result. Macclesfield Town 2, Chesterfield 0. So let's see how things stand then, starting with the Barclays Premier League. Manchester United closed the gap on leaders Chelsea to just a point, but Carlo Ancelotti's men will reopen their 4-point advantage if they beat Tottenham in the late kick-off. Manchester City hold on to the 4th Champions League spot for now, but Spurs will leapfrog them with victory against Chelsea. Everton did their Europa League ambitions no harm at all with victory at Blackburn. At the bottom, Burnley's survival hopes suffered a massive blow with defeat at Sunderland, leaving them 4 points adrift of safety. Hull's draw at Birmingham sees them move above Burnley, but not out of the bottom 3. Bolton eased their relegation fears with that comeback at Stoke. Owen Coyle's men move up to the relative safety of 14th. At the top of the Championship, the top two are already up, and leaders Newcastle will be champions if they avoid defeat against Plymouth on Monday. Or West Brom failed to beat Borough tonight. Leicester and Swansea boosted their playoff prospects with wins today, but 7th place Blackpool kept pace, beating Forest 3-1. No change to the bottom three, with already relegated Peterborough thrashed at Reading, and neither Plymouth nor Sheffield Wednesday in action. Crystal Palace are 2 points clear of the Owls after drawing at Derby, while Scunthorpe are on the verge of safety after beating Bristol City. At the top of League One, Norwich confirmed their immediate return to the Championship thanks to their win over Charlton, and Swindon's draw with Walsall. Leeds' defeat at Gillingham is a serious blow to their hopes of automatic promotion. Tranmere give their survival hopes with a massive boost with a victory over relegation rivals Exeter at the bottom. At the top of League Two, congratulations to Notts County and Rochdale. Both clinched promotion with victories today. At the bottom, Grimsby lost to Torquay and look increasingly likely to go down with Darlington. Only results elsewhere prevented the Mariners from being relegated today. In the blue square at the top, Stevenage are champions and win promotion to the Football League for the first time in their history, thanks to that victory over Kidderminster. At the bottom, Ebbsfleet survival hopes are still alive thanks to their victory over relegation rivals Gateshead, who slipped one place. Into the SPL, 2 late goals gave Celtic a 3-2 win against Hibs, a result that means runaway leaders Rangers can't clinch the title against Hearts tomorrow. Aberdeen ease their relegation fears with a victory against bottom side Falkirk, who remain a point adrift of Kilmarnock. Scottish Division 1, Inverness extend their lead at the top of the division to 9 points, and into Division 2, leaders Alloa lose ground after a 2-1 home defeat to Dumbarton, with nearest rival Stirling winning at Stenhousemuir, while in Division 3, well done to Livingston. They're promoted as champions after their goalless draw with Berwick. And there's live football on BBC Two right now. It's West Brom v Middlesbrough. Join our team from the Hawthorns as kick-off approaches. OK, well, my thanks to Garth and to Mark for their views this afternoon. From all of us here on BBC One, goodbye.